My wife made a joke about sleeping with my best friend, right there in front of a room full of people. She had no clue what I'd do afterward. The night was supposed to be simple, lighthearted, casual, full of good food and easy conversation. We'd invited a few close friends over for dinner. The house felt warm, the music low and comforting, glasses clinking as everyone chatted and sipped their drinks. I just finished grilling steaks on the patio while Hannah set everything out. She looked incredible that night in a plain blue dress, hair pinned up, smiling in that effortless way she did whenever she was hosting. I remember thinking how lucky I was. After nearly 6 years married and almost a decade together, I believed I knew her inside and out. Her laugh, her fears, the little signs she gave off whenever something was on her mind. At least I thought I did. My best friend Mark arrived with his girlfriend Olivia. I'd known Mark since college. We'd been through every phase of life side by side. Breakups, all-nighters, job searches, even building our first small businesses together. He was practically family. I trusted him without hesitation. And I trusted Hannah too. Or at one point I did. The evening started like any other get-together. We reminisced about dumb things we did years ago, poking fun at each other. Mark joked that I used to be way too serious, saying Hannah had softened me over time. Everyone laughed. But as the drinks flowed, the humor turned a bit sharper, edging into territory that didn't feel quite so harmless. Olivia teased Mark about how he used to flirt with every girl in sight before he met her. Hannah snorted. "Oh yeah, I remember that version of Mark." She said he could charm anyone back in the day. Everyone laughed along. Then Mark looked at her and joked, "Even you." And the look she gave him, I'll never forget it. Just a split second, a flicker in her eyes that wasn't playful. Then she smirked and said, "Please, if I'd wanted you, I totally could have had you." The room froze, just for a beat. Then she added, "Relax, guys, I'm kidding," and gave a dramatic laugh. But something in the atmosphere had shifted. Olivia let out a strained chuckle. Mark smiled in that tight, uncomfortable way. And me? I sat there, knowing deep down she wasn't joking. People say you can sense when something is wrong, even before you have proof. That was the moment something inside me fractured. I tried to brush it off. Alcohol makes people say things they shouldn't. But the rest of the night, I couldn't ignore the glances between them, the tone of their laughter, the tension in the air. When the last guest left, I asked her quietly, "What was that about tonight?" She rolled her eyes, poured herself another drink, and snapped, "Are you seriously jealous over a joke? Grow up, Alex." Her tone was dismissive, belittling, like I was being ridiculous for even noticing. I let it go outwardly, but I couldn't sleep. I replayed that moment again and again. The look she gave him, the timing, the smirk. It didn't feel accidental. It felt intentional. A few days later, I made a decision I never imagined myself making. While she was in the shower, I opened her phone. I hated myself for doing it. I'd never snooped on her before, but something in my gut pushed me. At first, everything seemed normal, chats with friends, family, coworkers. Then I saw Mark's name. The messages weren't constant, but they were definitely not appropriate. Inside jokes, late-night conversations, couple flirty emojis, and then the one message that punched me in the chest. "We probably shouldn't joke like that in front of them again." LOL. My pulse hammered. I scrolled further back. Another message from her. "Relax. Alex is too trusting." I don't know how long I sat there staring at the screen while everything I believed about my life caved in on itself. My marriage, my friendship, my sense of reality. All of it felt like it had been made out of glass and suddenly shattered. When she came out of the shower, I was sitting on the bed with her phone in my hands. I didn't yell. I didn't break down. I just asked, calmly, "How long?" She froze. The towel slipped a little as she processed what was happening. Then she saw the phone. Her face went completely pale. "It wasn't like that," she whispered, shaking. I repeated myself. "How long, Hannah?" She collapsed into tears, insisting it was a mistake, that it happened only once, that she never meant for things to escalate. She said it started as harmless flirting, that she enjoyed the attention, that she'd felt lonely because I was constantly working. But none of it mattered anymore. My brain just kept replaying every laugh she'd shared with him, every gathering, every memory now soaked in betrayal. That night, I packed a bag and walked out. I went to my brother's place and told him everything. He didn't say much, just stared at me, speechless. The next morning, I filed for divorce. After that, she called nonstop, leaving messages, crying, begging to talk. She even showed up at my office in tears, swearing she'd do anything to fix things. But some things can't be fixed. Once trust is destroyed, it doesn't simply mend. It leaves wounds. Mark tried contacting me too, but I blocked him. I didn't want apologies. I didn't want explanations. I didn't care if they were drunk or if they didn't mean it. The worst part wasn't losing her. It was realizing that the two people I relied on most had betrayed me together. For months, it felt like I couldn't breathe properly. Like each day was a reminder of how naive I'd been. People told me I'd move on, meet someone else, eventually heal. But healing doesn't come just from the passage of time. It comes from accepting the truth that someone lied to you, manipulated you, and wasn't who you thought they were. Ironically, I think the night she made that joke, she wanted me to catch on. Maybe the guilt was eating her alive. Or maybe she assumed I was too trusting, too blind to ever suspect her. Either way, that one careless comment became the beginning of the end. Months later, mutual friends told me she and Mark didn't last. Whatever fantasy they thought they had crumbled once the secrecy disappeared. She moved to another city trying to rebuild her life. I rebuilt mine slowly, focusing on work, my family, and figuring out who I was without her. It was rough, but I learned something important. Sometimes the truth reveals itself in the most unexpected ways. That night, she thought she was in control. Laughing, smug, certain she could say anything and I'd shrug it off. She had no idea a single reckless line would unravel everything she'd hidden. She thought I'd be oblivious. Instead, I walked away and never looked back. And that's when I realized the greatest form of revenge isn't rage or confrontation. It's distance. It's clarity. It's the quiet, steady peace of finally seeing someone for who they really are,